such an asshole.
So, lodging and housing, that is a real and very serious problem facing disproportionately young people today. Rarely do I say, is there a problem that affects. That's usually how dopey leftists get you suckers to give up. Do you know childhood hunger? I'm like, childhood hunger? You see these fat kids? They're fine. They all look like that kid from Up. Like, no, I don't think childhood hunger is a problem. I really don't. But in all seriousness, I mean, I look at the numbers and I'm like, yeah, that's why I changed my opinion, because rent has gotten so ridiculous, and tuition has also gotten so ridiculous that I'm like, yeah, you should try to live at home as long as possible, save up your money, work 2 jobs, do not go to college. And if you do, go for something worthwhile and do it online or do it cheaply. But yeah, it is ridiculous to pay $1,600 a month for 1 bedroom. It's ridiculous to pay $2,000 for one that's in a nice part or a safe part of town. So I am with people in general when it comes to housing being unaffordable. Now, I had a client a while ago, maybe 5, 6 days ago, say, "Hey, how do I get into housing?" Because he faces the very common problem. Well, I'm making money, I'm saving money, but I won't have enough for a down payment on a house. I want to have 20% down until 4 years from now. But 4 years from now, the value prices or house prices could go up that I can't keep up with the housing inflation. I ain't got 20% no more. So what do I do? I said, okay, so here's what you do. And I proceed to give him many options by which young people can essentially inevitably get to the point that have affordable housing, ranging everything from my old classic trick of stay at home, beg your parents to let you live at home, live there rent free for 4 years, work 2 full-time jobs, bank it all. Now you got enough money for a down payment on a home, or at least enough money that if you threw it in the S&P 500, your retirement is taken care of. I took care of your retirement for you. I mean, you got to do the work, but I just gave you an out to be putting you in the top 5% of Americans, financially speaking, by the time you're 22, assuming your parents are kind enough. But you got to do the work. I said, hey, you could buy the land now, go around, travel the United States, figure out where you want to be. I even have a book called Reconnaissance Man that teaches you how to do that on the cheap. But instead of buying a house you can't afford, why don't you find out where you want to live, buy the land now, and then over time, as you slowly work up the money, you can build a house on it, right? So you'd have a mortgage on a piece of land that would hopefully be tolerable. You're living at home or living cheap, yada, yada. I then say, and then the housing options are cheap. You could get a van. You could do van life. You could go get yourself an RV or a trailer. You can build your own home. Home Depot, Home Depot's got huts that you can buy for like 16 grand. I think they're prefabricated. They just drop it off, and you can have a concrete pad poured. You can have it, and you can basically build a 1-bedroom house, small, but a 1-bedroom house for somewhere around 40 grand. Yes, it depends on ordinances, the city allowing you to build such a small house, but I'm just giving you options. Then I say, well, maybe you don't know where you want to live, and and I said, well, throw your money into a real estate investment trust. Okay, use that as, don't just have a cash account, um, home down payment fund. Throw it into a real estate investment trust. That way it keeps up with inflation, property inflation, so that if it goes up or down, this tracks it, and then you maintain your purchasing power. I give all these options. And then someone who just like has to be the epitomal whiny little under 40 something. Look at this, bro. Just buy property, bro. We can't afford property, man. And normally I don't let anybody, it doesn't bother me because this guy's life is going to be miserable and it's going to be wasted. He's going to be poor the rest of his life. And it doesn't, normally things don't bother me, but this one caught my eye where I'm like, really? Really? I give you all the options in the world. I give you solutions And all you do is come back with, I can't, no. So I want to talk about this word no. And I can't. Let's be very real about this. It's you don't want to because you're a lazy fuck. That's it. I'm not being edgy. This is an asshole. This is just calling the truth. When everyone gives you the option and gives you this is why I charge at asshole consulting. So I don't care what people do. I got your money. But when you give everyone the option and they still bitch and whine, you just don't want to do it. And the reason you don't want to do it is because you want it for free. Because you're weak, you're pathetic, you're sad, and you don't want to work. And not that nobody really wants to work. But you will not settle for anything else. I'm sorry. There must be a ton of that suburbanite white girl blood out on the market. Everyone must be shooting it up because everyone seems that the only solution is if it ain't, it's got to be free. The only solution is if it's free and I don't have to work for it. That's the solution some people are only going to take. And as I said before about doing that white girl blood, suburbanite white girl blood, right, is that it's okay if you're a white girl and you're pretty and you got rich parents, because then daddy and all your supplicant little beta orbiters will go and bend the world for you. But if you're a dude or you're not a pretty girl, the real world is going to beat the shit out of you. And what you want and what you're going to get are two definitely different things. And so this just to let you know, this is why some of you will be forever poor. You're going to be forever poor. You can wait, you can vote, you can wait for the sky to rain manna from heaven. You can wait for socialism to come in. You could even get you had it. You had stimmy checks under Trump. And you still couldn't afford the housing. And so even if you got your socialist utopia, whether it's a Republican giving it to you or not, if you get that socialist utopia, ain't no one building more houses. I even dared to suggest that maybe you learn a trade and build your own house. There's YouTube and tutorials and instructionals. I mean, that's what they did in the olden days. I'm trying to solve people's problem, help out. And all I get is just lazy, whiny, petulant little spoiled, vagina juice dropping child attitude. Like, we don't have any money. We got water. Well, go work 2 jobs. Go join the military. Go to trade school. Go on YouTube. Learn how to frame. You could build your own house. And instead of taking the action, so by the time you're like 30 and you are a homeowner and now you got some adequate equity built up and your lodging problem is solved and you have affordable housing, ideally for the rest of your life, all I get is guff because I didn't oh yeah, we should just tax the rich more and then they can afford housing. And I know the whiners who are the vagina juice droppings are too lazy to put the effort in understanding this economics. We can print off all the money in the world. That doesn't build more houses. You need an increase in supply of housing. Okay, our population goes up, right? Because everyone just wants so many immigrants in here. Oh my God. Speaking of liberal white women from the suburbs, they got to live somewhere. They might fit 5 to a room, but that's one less room for everybody else. And if you look at the amount of tradesmen and houses being built, there's been a deficit. We don't have enough trades. This is what Mike Rowe has been talking about. And I say, hey, look, not only could you get a career and make some money and save a lot of money building your own house and then trade and barter and, you get fed. Nope. That's not good enough. You want free housing, even when I can tell you it ain't possible. Because there isn't new housing being made. And I'll tell you, you saw how the wonderful world of economics work. You saw it in the build up to the housing bubble. where we had a surplus of housing. We had way too many people in the trades. There were way too many people building houses. We had a glut of housing. And then the housing crash happened and everyone acted like it was a bad thing. I'm like, are you kidding? Housing is like really, it's cheap now. It's not only affordable, it's dirt cheap. And some young or older millennials bought and made off like bandits. And me, I'm like, well, why don't you increase the supply, especially for the younger people? That it would, you'd kill 5 birds with 1 stone. No, you're going to be just like your vagina dropping teachers. Free stuff right away. And I'm like, well, good luck, because you're going to be poor. Well, at least you're going to be paying high prices for lodging forever. You'll never be a homeowner. You won't even be a condo owner. You won't be a landowner. And I can't imagine that, like, when you give, here is the blueprint to success of the solution to your problem. I can't imagine what other problems you got that you're not going to lift your little limp dick up to go solve. I need a job. Well, that's because you don't have any skills or trade. We talk about this at the Elkins Accounting Hour all the time. For free. You could self-educate online or go to the library, pick up some cheap books on accounting, teach yourself through tutorials, however, and get certified in QuickBooks. Maybe you got to pay a couple $100 for that test. I'm not sure. Once you're certified in QuickBooks, you could start working as an accountant. QuickBooks even has it where it's like, hey, we got clients that need accountants. They need bookkeepers. Here you go. You don't even set a day in school. And then there's also the enrolled agent certification where you don't have to go to school for any of this. You can study and you could take the 3 tests, and now you could do taxes from the comforts of your own home. Oh, no, we're not going to do that. Truck driving. Go to school for 3 to 5 weeks. Learn to drive a truck. Oh, no. Oh, I get it. There is no solution unless it's free and we pamper your precious little baby powdered ass and give it to you for free, which isn't going to happen, even if we printed off all the money in the world, it doesn't increase the amount of stuff being made in the economy. And I'm just going to tell you, you can either get off your lazy, fat asses, although not all you are fat, metaphorical fat asses, and start working and get a fucking job and improve your life, or your life up until this point, however old or young you might be, from whenever you left the house, 16, 17, 18, whenever you left the house to whatever age you are now, that will be the rest of your life. And I hate so much I'm starting to sound like parents, but that's because you're all acting like children. I'm going to do this, it's free. And I just said, the only people that can afford that are actual white girls from the suburbs. No exceptions. And you got to be a cute white girl from the suburb. You can't just be a regular old white girl. You got to be a cute white girl. Then you don't adhere to the laws of physics or economics. But unless you're one of them, you get to work, or you get to live in a tent city and be pissed off at people who worked. Either or. So enjoy being poor. All right, Justified Bisagany, $5. Should I move back home to save money? My commute will be increased an hour total. I will save $1,000 a month. I don't know about the stigma of moving back. I don't know if there's stigma anymore. I'll be perfectly honest, Justified. I mean, let's do some math. Okay, so an hour. So there's 4.333 weeks a month times 5. Okay, so there's 21.6 working days. All right, so that's 21.6 hours. So let's do that. 1,000 divided by 21.6. That's $46 an hour you're saving. I'd say that's worth it. Yeah. $46 an hour? Yeah. I'd do it. The math. I mean, unless you're making $80 an hour, then I wouldn't do it. But if you're saving if you're making less than $46 an hour, yeah. I would absolutely. Because you're getting paid basically getting paid $1,000 for half a week of work. So that's what I would do. Stigma moving back at 26. What really? Are there lines of girls that are going out with what? Really? What's the stigma? What's the stigma? All right, link below. If you wanted help with your finances, kids, even more resources, Achieving Financial Excellence, that's a course, link below. The Dad You Never Had, for those of you whiny little vagina droppings out there. Unless it's free. I know you didn't have a dad, or your dad was a Democrat and he's the exact free. And I'm sure he's a really successful person. So the dad, if you are so childish and stupid to think that you are going to get through this life or have any kind of success in life without working, obviously you didn't have a father. Please go take the course, The Dad You Never Had. There's also Bachelor Pad Economics. That's the financial advice Bible for men and any women bold enough to read it. That goes through basic financial planning. And then there's How Not to Become a Millennial, where you look at what the millennials did, and it's like, here's what they did wrong. Here's where they were lied to. I admit they were lied to. And here's how you do the opposite and make money. That's it. See you guys later. Toodles.